Oh, how to build a pub.
Vatai, and welcome to the Build a Pub podcast with me, Alex Ravenhall, the only person to sing so out of tune in my school choir that I was actively banned from future performances. The Build a Pub podcast is a spin-off of my original series, Social Isolation. I invite guests onto the podcast to, as the name suggests, build their own pubs, from what they have on draft, to what food they serve, to what music they have playing, and hopefully share with me some anecdotes and thoughts on the institution that is the public house. I'm going to be releasing these podcasts bi-weekly every Wednesday and Sunday for the foreseeable future. If you can't wait that long, you can also find all 11 episodes of Social Isolation on this very channel, as well as previous episodes of this podcast. Special thanks also to Sam Nason for the brilliant graphics and Jack Pethram for the lovely jingle. Today, I'm joined by Alastair Winning, who is going to build a pub so welcoming that even the stray cats in the village come in for a pint. When I was tracking through the Angoran forest and fell into a Komodo dragon's lair with only some chewing gum and a pair of cycling gloves, only one thought crossed my mind. Whatever you do, don't glorify alcohol. When the Komodo dragon charged at me, and I shouted drink responsibly, he stopped, got out 2 Biera Morettis, and we had a nice natter. The moral of the story, if you don't glorify alcohol, you won't get eaten by a prehistoric beast. Now shut up, Alex, so these lovely people can get a brew, a blanket, a bath, and have a nice listen and enjoy.
Oh, how to build a pub.
We're live, Alastair. Here we go. We've got this. I'm going to start by introducing my guest today. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. He co-directed and wrote the Edinburgh Fringe show I was in last year and has since performed with me in the original comedy play Farmer and Cow, and has also directed and put together a huge production of Our House, the musical at the Birmingham University Guild of Students. With a love for orange VKs and a last name that really reflects his way of life, it's Alastair Winning. How are you, Alastair?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm well. Yeah, it's getting there now with lockdown, but Boris has just given us a bit of leeway, hopefully, so get a bit more exercise or something.
Yeah, which I need to do, to be honest, because I'm terrible. I'm putting it off forever. So I need to make sure I do that exercise.
Yeah, just to get out of the house, really. Alastair, I think it's fair to say, and it's very exciting, but you're not a massive drinker, are you?
I'm not. For about 18 months, I didn't drink at all. And then when we were at Edinburgh Fringe last year, I started drinking again because I was having such a good time. Yeah, I'm not a massive drinker, but this kind of things, the little I do drink, I enjoy. So,
yeah. So what is behind that? Is it just that, it's not really for you? Or is it kind of like more of like a moral thing? Or is it just, you just go with the flow type thing?
I don't know, really. I think it's more of a go with the flow thing. I feel like... I don't know, like my sister's, she's 18 now, and she's kind of, I'll have a bit of gin here, I'll have a bit of wine here. I'm kind of like, yeah, that's all right. I've just genuinely not been that fussed. So kind of when I came to uni, I obviously started to drink a bit more because it's uni and you do.
Yeah.
No, I guess I just haven't been that adventurous. But that's not because of not wanting to try. It's just been kind of, I'll drink if everyone else is having a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's more of a community thing. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think it's because you have such a naturally happy disposition that you don't need it. The rest of us miserable bastards need a drink for a good time, whereas you're just having a good time anyway, which is, I think, a positive, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Although it will be said that the odd VK does help.
Yes, it only improves the mood. It can't bring you down.
Yes.
Do you remember the first drink you ever had in a pub? Can you remember that? Alcoholic or not, actually. It's up to you. I find it hard because for some people it's quite like a big moment. For some people it's quite just a casual thing. I had my first on my 18th birthday with my dad. Mm-hmm. It was something that I'd always wanted to do, so I just wondered if you've got any kind of memory attached to it, or it's not like a big thing.
Gosh, I don't actually remember the first time I had a drink. It was probably, I had some friends back home, we kind of, in my old youth theatre, we was kind of, in the last 2 years we were there when we were kind of old enough, having to get together, and we used to go to the pub after rehearsals, and that was really, really nice. So I used to have kind of like a cider there. It was, it was Recordling. Is that
yes, that's one of them. I'm rubbish for ciders.
I used to have one of those on a Friday night after rehearsals with my mate, so that was really nice.
Yeah.
That was probably my first proper pub experience, but just with friends, and that was really nice.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what it's about. Like, I find it interesting who people go to the pub with, because I think that really reflects you. So, some people go with their family quite often. See, I would and I wouldn't, because I enjoy the odd drink with my family, but if I'm going to get drunk, I want to be away. I want to be with other people.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a quirky one. Do you remember the name of the pub?
Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, it'll come to me. It was sort of like, it was half pub, half hotel, so it was just like a regular pub, but then it was attached to.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called, so just how memorable it was.
Yeah.
It was in West Bromwich, but I can't remember what the name was.
I'll tell you what, if it comes back to you at any point, just shout it out, and then you can do it. Yeah. So you don't drink a lot, but do you remember ever going to get a drink and it being horribly expensive? Like you were just completely blown away.
Yes, I remember. I think it must have been one of the first times I was going out clubbing, because I'd never been out clubbing before Freshers Week.
Yeah.
And then after Freshers Week, I didn't go out for maybe like 4 or 5 weeks because I was busy doing because I was doing rehearsals with like footnotes, I was doing GMDB stuff, I just hadn't got time. But then I remember going out on a Saturday night to Rosie's, might have been my 19th, and I remember because it was Saturday night, I went and ordered an Orange VK because, what else would I order?
Exactly.
And it was like £4.95, and I went, flipping heck.
For a VK? That's £5.
I know. I was mortified. But also, I wasn't going to not have my VK, so I had to pay £4.95.
Exactly. I'm in that position where I see the price, and the most I can muster is a disapproving gasp, but I will pay for it because I'm too awkward not to. You know what I mean? Like if they've made the drink, I'm like, even with a VK, they don't make the drink, but I'll take it because I feel too awkward to not pay for it or to not have the drink. And so that's how I get stuck.
You reminded me, actually, we were at a service station once. We were at a Costa, and because service stations and everything, they're in the middle of nowhere, they put all the prices up.
Yeah.
And I looked at the dad, and the Costa was some kind of just a Costa coffee, some ridiculous price. And he just went, well, that's a complete rip-off to the kind of barista behind the counter. I'm thinking, Dad, it's not his fault.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. It's not their fault. It's the people. It's the head of Rosie's, whoever that is, who's pulling the strings. But yeah, no, that's definitely me, I think. That's a good one because the most expensive we've had was a cocktail for £23, which is just ridiculous.
£23.
But I think there's a difference between a horrifically overpriced VK and because cocktail you can kind of. There's a bit of artistic license to go a bit mental with the price, but a VK for £5, that disgusts me. That does. That's.
Yeah. I was disgusted, and I think maybe that was part of the reason I took about 18 months off drinking. I was like, no, I'm not going to pay those prices for that. But do you remember once I was in The Alchemist for a friend's 21st birthday, and and it was over £5. It was like this chocolate orange cocktail, and it was definitely not worth the £5. It was chocolate orange in a cocktail definitely didn't work. The Alchemist has lovely cocktails otherwise, but I just didn't choose the right one.
Yeah. Oh, mate, yeah. See, the thing is, I agree with you. I think you need 18 months to pay off what you paid for that VK. Just, you can save up for your next one 18 months later. I think that's the best way to go around it. That was lovely. I like the VK one, because when you say most expensive drink, as I say, there's the £23, but that's classically an expensive drink. Whereas an expensive VK just gets you the wrong way, I think, because...
Yeah.
It's just not right. Lovely. Thank you very much, Alastair. But let's actually kick off with the main body of this podcast. So, Alastair is here to pitch his dream pub. It's going to be full of all sorts of VKs, I'm sure. And it's going to... fairly priced VKs, I may add. But the first thing first is... there isn't a pitch without a person you pitch to. And this is very important, they're going to be giving you a lot of money to make sure this pub works out for you. So, Alastair, who are you pitching to?
Well, I had an idea that I'd pitch to Gene Hunt, which is the character in Life on Mars, and Apparatus, who's played by Philip Glenister. Because at the end of each episode, they always end up at the pub, all of him and his kind of detective crew, and they just, they live for the pub. And because I've recently been watching that in lockdown, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. But the pub sort of represents sort of their world. So I thought, what better person to pitch a pub to?
I don't like to pick favourites, but that is the best pitching person I've had yet. I've also, I don't know if it's timing, and it might alienate people if I haven't seen it, but Gene Hunt is one of the best fictional creations I've ever seen. As a character, he's just mind-blowing. And
just amazing.
And then, obviously, Life on Mars is also exciting. Have you seen Ashes to Ashes?
Yes, I have. I've literally finished it last week.
Mate.
Oh my God, it's
Honestly.
Amazing.
It's so good. It's such an amazing payoff. And we won't spoil it because it's that good. But if I suggest you do anything during the last couple of weeks of lockdown, it's to watch the whole of Life on Mars and the whole of Ashes to Ashes, which we did as a family. It's because, Alastair, you've picked... I tell you what, you're off to a very good start.
Thank you.
Lovely stuff. So let's kick off. So Jean, Ray and Chris are on their way into the boozer. And the first thing they see, obviously, is the name of the pub. It's a big one because that's how people are going to know your pub. That's how the locals are going to come in. They're going to say, that's where we want to go to. If it's called something silly, they're not going to come in, are they? Especially Jean. Jean likes a cool boozer. So, Alastair, what is the name of your pub?
Oh, well, I debated and debackled about this, and now thinking about it, I'm not sure the name of the pub would be one that would actually entice Jean. I've gone on a completely down different tangent. I called it like the after show inn. I had this idea you could have like a whole pub dedicated to like after show parties.
That is, I'll tell you what, some of my best pub experiences have been after shows, so I like it. It's quite a heightened thing. And if we treat it as it is them, but also secretly somewhere inside them, they know they're actors, you know. They don't know why, but there's something that draws them in, and that's the fact that they're actually played by actors.
I'm pretty sure there's an episode of Ashes to Ashes where Chris and Ray get up and go on stage, so they drag Gene along.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he'd end up enjoying it despite moaning the whole time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Chris would bloody love it either way. This is very much a time place for Chris. Absolutely lovely. So they go in, and Gene goes, right, you bastards, or whatever he says. And he sits down at the table and he goes, what am I getting you? And they're about to answer, he goes, no, don't tell me. And he walks up to the bar, and he's going to get them whatever he fancies. It's Gene Hunt, he does what he wants. And he walks up to the bar, and you're behind the bar, ready to serve him. And in front of him are 4 drinks on draft. There are 2 beers and 2 ciders. Alastair, what have you got to offer?
So I'll start with the ciders. I cut my kind of classic go-to cider. I've got a bit of Strongbow dark fruit because that's one of my sort of like go-to few things that I look at it and go, yes, this is a safe pair of hands. And I like I mentioned earlier, I went for the recorder lig because that's one that I just had good memories of. From kind of going to the pub with mates. I used to think it was a strawberry and pear one that I used to really like, so I put that down.
Oh, lovely.
I'm not as well versed in my beers, I've got to say.
That's all right. We had we've had people not versed in certain drinks, and they go a bit wild with it. So literally, whatever you come up with works because it's your dream pub. So it can be anything you want it to be.
I mean, I put Budweiser because that's a beer name that I know. So I thought you could have that. I don't know that beer actually. I'm much more well versed in my cider than my beer.
Tell you what, I'll give you one because a Gene Hunt one that he'd like. I think.
Okay.
I think he'd like a good John Smith's, which is quite it's quite a thick bitter, and it's quite like it very much represents what he was in the 80s. I would say. So I think if you want that one, you can have it.
I'll take that. I'll take your word for it.
With the new theatre, was there any kind of after show thing you remember in particular? Any like any memory in that pub you remember that was quite kind of a bit higher than the other, like something that you kind of remember and you enjoyed, or was it just kind of all of the memories in one kind of represented that for you?
After show experiences in a pub.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to say, actually, the week after we finished our house, we kind of had like a post-show fundraiser. We had the karaoke night, but afterwards, after that had finished, Serco had their resident DJ in.
Yeah.
And Serco was basically empty. It was just a few of us from the cast and crew. This DJ was playing all those kind of like cheesy music you get like in all the cheese rooms in clubs. So we had like ABBA and kind of S Club. And it was just, everybody was just having a really, really nice time. We basically had the whole of Serco to ourselves. Everybody, had a little bit, not massive, but just a little bit to drink. And it was just really, really nice.
Yeah.
So that was really, really lovely, especially because I think I was really feeling the post-show blues after that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge effort for you, if we don't mind going off on this tangent, because so me and Alastair were actually putting on shows at the same time, and very unfortunately, neither of us could make each other's shows, which was a big unfortunate, but I watched poor Alastair go through, and it was such a huge show. It was in the Deb Hall, which is a really big venue. You had so many people involved, so many cast, crew, everything. and it was all on your shoulders, man. So I think if anyone deserves a nice beer after a show, it's you. And as I said, I wish I could have seen it, and I heard very good things about it. So congratulations, sir.
And same your show as well. I mean, I came into one of your rehearsals because I knew I couldn't make it, but
Yeah.
I love Departure Lounge. It was fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much. After that little detour, we'll carry straight on. So I think Gene will go for, he'll go for a Budweiser. He's feeling a bit fruity. And Chris has gone for a cheeky cider. He's gone for the Record League Strawberry and Pear. I think he'd like that. And then Ray comes over, and Gene's like, yeah, you're getting a beer? And he goes, I'm actually not. I'm in the mood for a little bit of wine. And he goes, well, hello. You're lucky because the post-show... Is it post-show in or after-show?
The after-show in, I won't
The after-show in has a range, and by a range, I mean one of each, of delicious wines. There's a lovely white and a lovely red. So, Alastair, what have you gone for?
Well, again, wine is not one I'm big on, but I know that I do like Echo Falls, and that's wine, isn't it? I haven't got this right.
I have no idea. Honestly, I answered this question when I did it with communion wine, because I am honestly shit with wine. I am absolutely rubbish. So I know Echo Falls is a brand. Yeah, it's very uni as well. It's very uni wine, I think.
I remember when we were in Edinburgh, I'm sure there was people having Echo Falls, and I remember I think it was Ella Malin let me try some Echo Falls in a mug, and I went, oh, that's quite nice. That's about my entire experience with wine ever.
Yeah.
But I liked that, so I thought, you know what, I'll put some Echo Falls in. I'll have a couple of flavours, one reddish flavour, one whitish flavour.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I'm sure they do. They'll use both grapes, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. Or my other one, I thought you could have some kind of like alcoholic Ribena wine. That was my other sort of.
We had a red wine made out of red gummy bears, which was a very interesting kind of liqueur. I think a very very rich and smooth little wine. So yeah, I think you can really have whatever you want with it. What am I going to say on my white? The only one I've really had any interaction with is a raffle wine I got from the Mayday raffle, which was £1. And I drank it because it was cheap. So yeah, I'm honestly, wine isn't my specialty, but I think Ray's like, he doesn't like to admit it in front of the gov, but he loves an Echo Falls. He loves an Echo Falls, so he's gonna go for that.
Sort of thing you never tell Chris and Ray, but
He likes a cheeky one, and then obviously Sam comes in. And Sam's talking loads of bullshit about how he was born in 2006 and all this, and we're like, leave it off, Sam. You know it's not real. And Sam goes, fine. I'm gonna have a heavy spirit to help me forget and just get on with what with this world that I've created for myself. So he goes up to you and he goes, Alastair, I want a spirit. What 3 spirits do you have?
Well, spirits-wise, again, I'm not well versed, but the first one I went for was gin, and the reason is just because I have a particular memory of gin. The first time I tried gin was on my A-level results day. I went to kind of like a post-show party, not post-show. I live in a world of amateur dramatics. Post-result party, and someone gave me some gin for the first time. So I, not knowing you didn't drink gin neat, I just poured myself a massive cup of gin.
God.
I was very, very naive and went, that doesn't taste very nice. I remember thinking it tasted like, not that I would have tried it, but like what I imagined Domestos to taste like.
Do you know what I think gin tastes like? Rotten, like composted carrots. That's what I get from it. I don't get good vibes from gin at all. Like
I can buy that.
Yeah, it's not a nice flavour. I have very weird views on certain drinks. I think IPAs taste of raisins, and I think gin's taste of rotten carrots. It's just the first thing that comes to mind. So yeah, I'm also not a massive gin man, but it is a popular choice.
Yes, my sister loves gin. Absolutely loves it. And then obviously once I put some lemonade with the gin, it tasted a lot nicer.
Exactly. Yeah, get it a bit sweeter.
I said vodka as well, just because it's the base ingredient to the VK. How could I not?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I said, I went for tequila. I'm not sure I ever had it, but I remember in first year, I'm sure I was doing the freshest sketch show, the 6 of us doing that, as you did as well. I'm sure Sam Nason had like Tequila Wednesdays, and I just remembered that, so I put that down.
It's interesting you say that, because firstly, not many people go for tequila, and it's a nice one. It's a party one. I like it a lot. I think tequila's a very good choice. And then, but also, you do remember correctly, Sam Nason has a little thing where if it's on a night out, on the hour, he will get everyone a tequila shot, which was screw up his bank account, but it makes for a lot of fun. So yeah, during my very similar, when I did the Freshers Sketch Show the year after Alastair, it was on our like social together, we did the exact same thing, where Sam Nason went round and got us tequila shots, so you really can't go wrong, can you?
I don't remember him doing that for us. Well, maybe he did, and I just wasn't drinking it, because I probably would have been too scared to have the tequila as a naive first year that I was.
Yeah. So I think Sam is going to go for the gin.
Okay.
But then Jean is also going to get everyone a round of tequila shots, because it's just the way it is. I think you've got to you got to have a tequila shot when you're out after getting some people in jail. That's what coppers do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Shaz turns up. She was a bit late to the proceedings, and she's like, right, what do you want, love? And she goes, oh, I don't know. And she looks at the menu, and she goes, oh, this looks nice. And she flips it over, and lo and behold, it's the After Show Inn's signature cocktail. I don't know what it is. Tell me, Alastair, what is the After Show Inn's signature cocktail?
The signature cocktail, I mean, this will come as absolutely no surprise at all. I call it the VK Megamix. And the idea is you have you know how you can get those massive crates of all the different colour VKs?
Yeah.
It's basically that. You've got almost like a shot glass of each one, and you've got sort of your main glass in the middle, and you can kind of mix and match your VK. So you can kind of put a bit of the orange in with the sort of tropical fruits, or you could have the cherry one. I thought you could it's like your own mix and match VK.
I'll tell you what, that would keep you up for literally 48 hours, I think. Just having all these mix and match VKs, it would just be amazing. It would if you need to cram for an exam, that's what you're going to drink, I think, because the sugar will keep you punching.
You know, it's so true, because I feel like, I remember when I'd had a couple of bottles of VK, I think it was Halloween last year.
Yeah.
I got home at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't go to sleep, and it wasn't because I was drunk, it's because I'd consumed so much sugar.
Yeah.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was just checking my emails and writing a bit of an essay. I was I cannot go to bed.
I'll tell you what, that's the true thing. When I go out, I'm a beer drinker usually, so I'll get some, a cheap 4-pack of beers or something. But beer makes me so sleepy. So there are certain drinks like VKs, WKDs, Jaeger bombs, and things like that, which are so full of sugar that you need them just to keep you going, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why I have got a soft spot for a VK. Not one that costs £5, but I do have a soft spot for a well-priced VK. I think that's definitely up Shaz's street. She loves a bit of sugar, don't we all?
I think Shaz would love a VK.
Yeah, and she gets one, and so obviously Chris then goes, yes, I will also have one. He follows her wherever she goes. So, lovely. They're all sat down at the table now, and they're all having a lovely evening. And then Jean goes, oi, barman. And you're like, oh, God. And you sit down opposite Jean, and he takes a swig of his drink, and he grimaces his teeth as it goes down, and he goes, look, you seem like a nice lad, but how are we supposed to know what we're getting from this booze? We walk in here, we sat at the bar, sat at a booth, but what's the vibe? What's the atmosphere like? And the only way I can know what the atmosphere is like, Alastair, is if you tell me about your best pub experience, because then I know that's what you're trying to get. That's the vibe you're trying to exude into the room. That's the atmosphere that you're creating. So, Alastair Winning, what is your best pub experience?
That's quite hard, because the pub experiences I've had have generally been quite good. I said before, I used to go after rehearsals with mates to go and have a drink. That was really nice. But I'm going to say one of the nicest pub experiences I had. This was Christmas last year. I went for a drink and a catch-up with my old history teacher, who Mr. Charlesworth, who was just an absolute inspiration to me. It's why I kind of went to do history at university. But it was just so nice to just kind of just sit there, have a drink. I think they had some fish and chips as well. It was so nice, and he's just one of the loveliest people as well. So it was really nice to just sit there, have a catch up, talk about kind of all sorts of things, you know. So that was really, really nice. But I guess there's different types of having a good pub experience. There's that sort of like, you know, very wholesome sort of, you know, having a you know, like a steak and chips and a drink with an old friend. And then I think, yeah, that kind of thing I said before, going out with a drink with mates after rehearsal, that's nice in a different sort of way. So I don't know. I think there's different types of having a good pub experience, but I'd imagine, I don't know, in my like ideal pub, I'd have maybe a few of those things going on in different corners, that sort of thing.
Well, to be fair, it depends on the time of day, because I think at a lunchtime, it's very much about that catching up with an old friend, getting a nice bit of food, and then on an evening, it's like after work. And to be fair, the after show thing works for Gene because it's after putting some bad guys in jail. So he loves that vibe, and also I'm sure he loves to catch up with all of his old mates. So I think I think both work for you. I had a similar thing where I went, well, not for a drink. So I was at like a party, but it was like kind of a village middle-aged party, not like a kids one. Yeah. And my one of my teachers was there, and this teacher had a real influence on me going forward. You know, I think we all got one of those teachers who just shapes us going forward.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And he really shaped kind of my career direction. Like everything where I'm going now, I think it really started with him. And it was just lovely, like just to have a chat over a drink and just be kind of not in the school environment as well. Obviously, this was after school, so we were both, you know, out of the array of things. And yeah, I don't think he knows or he even remembers it, but it was a big moment for me, and I think that is just a really nice thing to. It's kind of like a thank you for what they've done for you, to be able to just chat with them as human beings and have like a normal conversation outside of them inspiring you to death.
Yeah, it is a funny one, isn't it? When you kind of, because obviously when you've left school, that kind of relationship then can be different to what it is in school. You know, it can be that more kind of friendly relationship. And Mr. Charles, my history teacher, is one of the most inspirational, if not the most inspirational person I've ever met.
Yeah. See, what's interesting about that is, for me, I always have a weird relationship with this because both my parents are teachers, so I've always grown up kind of knowing what teachers are like outside the classroom as well.
Of course.
So, you know, like, you know, if my dad had some parties and things, or some work dues, then I'd see them all. And, you know, that they might get a bit drunk or they'd just be normal with me, at least. So I had kind of a weird thing. But what was nice about this teacher was that I didn't really, like, him and my dad didn't really socialise outside of work, which meant that when I actually saw him, it was absolutely lovely to get this side of him that I'd seen from other people as well. So it was a nice little thing, yeah. So they're all having a lovely time, absolutely lovely time. They're all reminiscing with their old teachers. All their old teachers have come down. Jean's maths teacher's come down. Jean's told them to bugger off. And basically they're having a great time. But Chris has got way too pissed. And they're in at 6 in the morning because they're in the middle of a case. And Jean goes, right, Chris, you need to sober up. And the best way for Chris to sober up is to have a lovely pub meal. So Chris gets out the food menu, he flips it over, and on that menu, is 3 set menus. 3 set meals. My God, I'm struggling with my words today. And a little thing that you might not know is that, as you know, the premise of Life on Mars is that Sam Tyler's character gets hit by a car in 2006 and ends up in the 70s. Now that's time travel. So what you may not have realised is, for your 3 set meals, you are able to time travel to get some, like, so, say if you had an amazing fish and chips when you were 7 years old, you can have that in your pub. You can have literally any meal that you've ever had in your lifetime in your pub, so don't feel restricted by anything. So, Alastair Winning, what are your 3 set meals?
Well, I kind of think of this as the approach of kind of going through like a starter, main course, dessert sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I was thinking as like a starter / you could have this as like a sort of like brunchy lunch sort of thing. There's a cafe near where I live. It's called the Lime Tree, and they do the most amazing sort of like soup of the day that I've had when I've been there. Really, really nice soups like pea and mint, but they kind of do a different one each day. So you have like a soup of the day. and then they serve it with kind of like a ham, cheese, tuna sandwich, but with the kind of like bread of your choice. You can have white, you can have granary, you can have brown. But
sick.
in particular, and this is a really sad story. When I had an operation when I was about maybe 12, and afterwards I had this cheese sandwich, and I swear it is the best thing I've ever eaten. Because you know how you can't eat before you have an operation?
Yeah.
Because I hadn't eaten in maybe like 48 hours, and this cheese sandwich was phenomenal.
Oh.
So I would have, you're talking about time travel, I'd go back to whenever that was, 2011, and I'd get that cheese sandwich, I'd have that cheese sandwich again, because it was amazing. So good.
I love that, because my little thing that I love about this question is when people have really personal stories about the meals they pick. So I really like that one a lot. I think that's an absolutely stellar choice. So are we going for the soup and the cheese sandwich, or just the cheese sandwich?
Oh, I'd have some soup as well. I think it would add to the experience. And yeah, this cafe near where I live is it's so nice.
I want to go now. It sounds amazing, lovely. What about your next, your main?
My main, this is like, I've never had this, but this is sort of like my ideal dream meal. I'd have sort of like a toad in the hole, but my idea is you've got a Yorkshire pudding that fills the size of the plate, and then the rest
ready.
of the meal is inside the Yorkshire pudding. So I'd have like, I'd have my sausages in there. I'd have big dollop of mash. I love mashed potato. Literally, I can't get enough. It's one of those weird things I'm just obsessed with. But I love making mashed potato as well. Kind of have loads of vegetables. So I'd have carrots, peas, broccoli, cabbage, and just swamp it all in just gravy. That's just my idea.
That sounds like heaven. That does sound like heaven, Alistair. Carry on. For your third option.
Then my third option. This is one maybe the last 12 months or so I've started to make. It's like my signature sundae, which I do. So what it is, it's sort of like you've got three layers. You've got like a chocolate brownie layer at the bottom, then you've got a layer of kind of like strawberries and raspberries, and then you've got a layer of vanilla ice cream at the top, and then you fill up your sort of what do you call them, like the sundae glasses that you have? They're like quite long and thin.
I know exactly what you mean, but I can't think. Yeah.
So you've got these layers. So you put brownie, fruit, then ice cream. Then you do it again. So what you get is then the vanilla ice cream sort of drips all the way down, and all the kind of juices from the raspberries and the strawberries get mixed in with it. It's to die for.
Oh.
And in relation to those brownies, while we've been in lockdown, my sister's been doing loads of baking. She's brilliant at it. And she's made these, they've gone now because they were so nice, but I think they were Mary Berry's chocolate brownies. Oh my gosh, they're some of the best things I've ever
Were they?
eaten.
Sounds like heaven, to be fair.
Specifically have those brownies in there.
Yeah, those brownies. Okay, I get you. What do you call this creation? Is it just like an Alastair sundae?
I hadn't given it a name. We can call it an Alastair sundae.
I think that's the best name for it, an Alastair sundae. It sounds delightful. That's making me hungry. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm glad you like it. I just say, I'm going to make one of those things when I come to make it. I'm glad I've got a name for it now.
Yeah, the Alastair sundae. I must say to you, Alastair, that toad in the hole Yorkshire pudding gravy veg thing is perfect for the person you're trying to pitch to. Jean would love a good Yorkshire toad in the hole pudding, whatever it's called. And I think you've really got your right people that you're pitching for. And Chris has it. He absolutely loves it. And everyone carries on having a lovely evening still. And then Ray is now getting a little bit pissed, and he stands up and he goes, "What is this song playing? I love this song." And he turns to you and he goes, "Oi, what are you playing?" Now, what he doesn't realise is you've got a jukebox. Not only that, it's a very new jukebox, and so far you've only put in one album. But you picked an album so good that you're not even going to put any more albums in, because this is the perfect album for your pub. So what I want to know, Alastair, is what is the album, and more specifically, what is the current song playing? So kind of your favourite song from the album.
Okay, so since we are in the 80s and this is all ashes to ashes, I'm going to say, this is such an obvious answer, but I'm going to say the album is Total Madness. Madness is greatest hits, because I do just adore Madness.
Yeah.
But what song would I have? What would Gene Hunt like? What would Ray like?
I feel like they'd be very into Madness. I think that would be their...
I feel like they would. There is definitely Madness songs in the Ashes to Ashes soundtrack.
Yeah, it's got an amazing soundtrack.
I'm going to say it would start from the start. We'll start with One Step Beyond. We'll start with that. And then obviously we kind of played. You'd have all the kind of baggy trousers. It must be love. Although I don't know. What would they like? Chris and Ray and Jean.
I think Chris would love It Must Be Love. I think that would be very much him.
Chris would love that. You'd start with one step beyond though. Nightboat to Cairo would definitely be in there. Baggy trousers.
Yeah.
I love all of that stuff, and it's the right era for them.
That is fantastic. I love it. And now Jean and Shaz are also, they're a bit pissed as well. And they're like, oh, I fancy doing something. Do you know when you just fancy getting up and doing something?
Yes.
And they turn to you and they go, oi, barkeep, what game/or activity do you have? And you reply with...
Oh, right, yes. No, I would definitely have in the pub. I definitely want like a small performance area. This is the after show in, after all.
Yes.
And I'd have a stage area, kind of like you have at sort of the indie lounge. And my idea was, and I think this would go down well with the kind of like the Ashes to Ashes team, is you'd have, if I could, I would try and hire in Alex Horn from Taskmaster and have sort of Taskmaster evenings in the pub.
That is a brilliant idea. That is superb. Carry on.
I've seen he's doing because I know Taskmaster's moved to Channel 4 now, but Alex Horn is issuing out tasks you can do at home. But that sort of thing. Also, of course, try and get some sketch shows in as well. Because great sort of venues for those sort of things. But yeah. My idea was you'd have sort of Alex Horn, or maybe Jean is sort of Greg Davies. Jean is the Taskmaster.
I think that fits so well. Yeah. To be fair though, Gene would make himself the Taskmaster. Doesn't matter. He'd just walk in and sit there, and Alex Horn wouldn't do anything to stop him.
No, he wouldn't. Because he wouldn't. Alex wouldn't know what to do. He'd just go, yes, good, right.
Yeah. I love that. I especially like the Taskmaster edge to it because I'm a big fan of Taskmaster, and also what a fun thing to do in a pub. What a really fun thing to do in a pub. It's pub quizzes are so kind of a lot of fun, but very normal. Do you know what I mean? But Taskmaster, I like it. It's got their after show in vibe to it. It's got that edge that I think the pub gives off, and I really like that. Well done, good choice. You're smashing this pitch so far, but you might have missed a very noticeable person that hasn't been around, and that is Alex Drake. Yeah. And she has been busy solving another crime, as she does, and she's walking into the inn, and Jean knows she's coming, but as she's walking in, she notices the blackboard by the door. Now, Jean knows she's coming, and if she sees his message and she thinks, nah, and she walks away, Jean will know that she hasn't come in because she doesn't like something about the pub, and so he might not give you the money for the pitch. So it's very crucial that this blackboard message works. So Alastair, what is the message on your blackboard?
This one is another sort of reference to the 80s again, it would draw me into any pub, and the caption would be serving for tea and cakes from Mrs. Megan's pie shop, because I'm a massive Blackadder fan.
Yeah.
It fits the era, and to be honest, if you don't I just think Blackadder's the best thing ever, and that would entice anyone in for me.
Alex Drake would love Blackadder. That would be definitely up for us. I 100% believe that Alex Drake is a huge Blackadder fan, and for that reason, she's seen that sign, she's jumped straight in. I think 100% that's her vibe. And what's happened now is everyone's in. They're having a great time. You've been serving them all night. It's going very well, you think, or you hope. And then the night's starting to die down. It's about 1 a.m. You've kept it open a bit later because, you're pitching the pub. You're trying to get some finance. And they're all sat back in the booth. And Jean goes, oi, Alastair. And you're like, okay, here it goes. And you go into the booth. And you sit down. You look at Jean. And Jean looks at you back. And he goes, it's a nice boozer. And you can translate Jean to know that means that he absolutely loves the place. He finds it stupendous. He loves everything about it. He loves the performance area. He loves the stuff you've got on draft. He loves madness. He absolutely loves madness. He loves the 80s references you've gone for with the blackboard. He's so happy with it. And within that moment, you know that you've got the money. Congratulations, Alistair, you've done it. But not only have you done it, not only have you got the money for your dream pub, you have now got access, as a bonus, as a signing on bonus, you've got access to the time travelling capabilities that Jean possesses to have a pint with 5 people out of the whole of history. They can be dead or alive. They can be good or bad. They can be friend or foe. They could be a celebrity or not. You can have a drink with 5 people in the world. And this is your sign-on bonus. They've all left. And walking through that door are those 5 people. Alastair Winning, who have you gone for?
I'm going to start, again, for me, this is just, I could not have to be David Tennant.
Yes. I thought you were going to pitch to David Tennant, you know. That was my sneaky guess. But yeah, it's got to be David. He's fantastic.
I would love to have a drink with David Tennant, just because, you know, all of that kind of Doctor Who was my childhood. Do you know what I mean? I remember vividly kind of sitting down and watching that day that he sort of regenerated, and just remembering that was the way my childhood ended.
Yeah.
You know, it was like the defining thing, really. I absolutely love him, and I saw him in Richard II at the RSC a few years ago, and he was absolutely amazing.
He's phenomenal.
So I'd love to meet David Tennant.
Have you seen Good Omens?
No, I haven't, but it's on my to-do list.
Yeah,
because
Michael Sheen and him are so good together. Like, you watch it just for them, to be honest. Like, obviously the story's good and everything, but I watch it for those two on screen together because they're just absolutely magnetic performers.
Yeah, my sister's watched it and she said exactly the same as you. It's kind of the relationship between those two actors is just phenomenal. Have you seen Michael Sheen was in the ITV drama Quiz? Have you seen that?
Quiz, superb. I loved it. Did you enjoy it?
Good.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I like the ambiguity of it because something that I found really weird is it was made by ITV. Now ITV own Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Yeah. Not only that, they covered the story and they also released a documentary basically destroying the guy who supposedly cheated. I can't remember, like the Colonel, whatever he was called.
Yeah.
And not only that, they then released this show where they offer both sides to it, and where they offer a little bit of ambiguity. I didn't know if it was kind of an apology, if after the fact they learnt more facts. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure the documentary they did is quite scathing, but the fact that now they've released this, and also like how like they show how even the people at the ITV weren't sure. I thought it was really interesting that it was quite meta. It was a very meta piece, but I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I love Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as well. I love quiz shows like The Chase. I love Pointless. And, yeah.
Lovely stuff. Sorry, I got us off topic there. Who is your next guest?
Again, this is going to come as no surprise. I would have Russell T Davies, who then wrote Doctor Who, and things like Years and Years, which was incredible. Just because I just think he is just the most amazing sort of like television writer. I mean, to think he was working on things like Doctor Who, Torchwood, and Sarah Jane Adventures all at the same time and producing such quality television. Yeah. He's just amazing. And I say, Years and Years, A Very English Scandal, all written by him, are just, so good.
Phenomenal. I see a trend here in who you've invited.
Yeah. This is so predictable, I feel. Yeah.
Lovely. I love that, Russell T Davies. Who's your third?
Who I mentioned earlier. I'd had another pint with Mr. Charlesworth, my history teacher.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
He is absolute legend, so I'd definitely be up for having another pint with him. Once this lockdown's over, I'd love to kind of meet up with him again. So I'd love to do that. Yeah.
That's a good one. I don't think I need to explain. That's nice. That's really nice, you know, getting to know that person who really inspired you. I also like the balance between celebrity and non-celebrity. I think it's nice to get a bit of both, I think. Who is your number 4?
Number 4, I've gone for Richard Curtis. And again, writer, I just think he would be a really sort of, you know, again, because he wrote things like Blackadder, him and Ben Elton, and then things like, you know, Notting Hill, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. You know, I won't try and, you know, cover it up. I do enjoy a rom-com. I do.
4 Weddings and a Funeral is one of the best films ever made. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's superb.
He did Love Actually as well, didn't he?
Yes, yeah, I think so, yeah.
He did. And did he do About Time? Which is a film I absolutely love.
If he did do About Time, that makes perfect sense, but I'm not sure.
He did.
I'll check it for you now. If you just So Richard Curtis, was that number 4, Richard Curtis?
Richard Curtis is number 4, yeah. Because I just think he's a genius, and I'd love to just, Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's hard to balance rom-com, to get a rom-com right, I think. Yeah, it was Richard Curtis.
Yeah, it was. All the better.
Because it's, like, it can so easily be kind of cliche and like, horrifically awkward, or really funny and not very romantic, or too romantic and not very funny at all. I think he strikes a lovely balance with it. I think he really, really gets it right.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah, I just love his stuff.
he's just amazing. And for your final guest, who are you going to go for, Alistair?
Oh, I'm going to say the best for last. I would have a drink with my Uncle Ray, who he passed away. It was 2016.
Yeah.
But he had dementia for a very, very long time. So my kind of memories of him as he was are kind of, they're there. I do remember him, but not, like as well as I would like to.
Yeah.
So I'd love to just kind of be able to sort of go back in time and kind of have a drink and get to know him kind of as he was, because I know when I was younger, when I was a child, we were actually very, very close.
Yeah.
But obviously then that was sort of,
Yeah,
taken away.
it's frustrating because you were kind of too young, and then obviously as he got older, he deteriorated, so it kind of missed that opportunity.
So I'd love to be able to sort of really, as an adult, if you like, get to know him as the person he was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would be that I know my last one, but that would be almost like my most important one, really.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's very
Absolutely.
personal.
Like, if you had to have one, you could just sit and chat with them. That's an absolutely beautiful answer. That's really, I think that's a really, really nice one. I think there's a really nice reasoning behind it, because obviously you kind of just didn't quite get the timing right. And also, I think as an adult, it would be nice to talk to him. Knowing what you know as well.
It would be really, really lovely. And from what I remember, he was such a lovely man. And my rest of my family have so many kind of wonderful stories about him. He was kind of, a gentleman, but also just a complete laugh as well. So, I would have loved to have more memory of that.
Lovely, absolutely superb answer. That really was a really nice balance, I think, between the intimate and the kind of meeting your heroes. I thought you really balanced that really nicely, Alistair.
Thank you.
You're having an absolutely lovely evening. Everyone's getting along so well that they're just throwing praise at you for a fantastic pub and a fantastic evening. And it gets to about 11 o'clock, and you decide, you know what? They've been so lovely, I'm going to get them all a drink. And you go, I'm getting you a drink. And you get to the bar, and you forgot to ask them what they wanted. So, what are you going to get for each of your 5 guests as your final question? So what do you think everyone would drink?
Each of them.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be from your pub, but it can be if you'd like. So, what do you think they'd all drink?
I think what Uncle Ray have wanted? I think he would probably would have had a beer of some kind.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what. Mr. Charlesworth, I think again he'd probably have a beer. What would Russell T Davies drink? Oh, that's a question, isn't it?
Maybe like a vodka? I don't know.
Maybe. I was thinking, if in doubt, Strongbow Dark Fruit.
Yeah.
And everyone likes a Strongbow Dark
Everyone likes Strongbow Dark Fruits. It's the populist drink.
Yeah. David Tennant, he's quite
He could be anything, I think.
I think he would. I think he'd have a cider.
Yeah.
I think I might give him the recorder link.
Yeah. I think David would enjoy that.
And then Richard Curtis. Oh, what would Richard Curtis have?
I'm thinking like a red wine, maybe.
Yes, I think you're right. Actually, yeah, I can see him as very much a red wine.
He's a bloody lover of Echo Falls, is Richard Curtis.
I can see this completely. I can see this.
Alastair Winning, you've done it. You've got your dream pub. You've had an amazing night with some amazing people. You've been forthright. You've been lovely. You've had some fantastic answers. Thank you so much for coming on.
Haven't they?
Yeah, it's just lovely to see you as well. It really is. I've got a couple of thank yous I need to say, if you don't mind hanging on for a little second.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So I've got 4 thank yous to make. The first one goes to Sam Nason for the graphics, and also for tequila, whatever day he does tequila, for tequila hours whenever he does them. Thank you number 2 goes to Jack Petheram for the fantastic little jingle. Thank you 3 goes to everyone who's listening, who's probably one or two people, my mum and dad listening for me, and everyone else listening for the brilliant Alastair, who is my final thank you. Thank you so much, Alistair. You've been absolutely terrific. It's been lovely to catch up and lovely to see you.
Thank you, you too, absolutely. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. And thank you all for listening once again to this week's episode of the Build a Pub podcast. Thank you so much.
Oh, how to build